Well, hello again and welcome to Elroy Life. My name is Paul Stamp. This channel was created to highlight the challenges of single parents and blended families. The name Elroy means God sees me. So the channel seeks to encourage parents and families that God sees you and He cares about you. He cares about your situation, so you don't have to feel alone. So in this video, we delve into the overlooked yet significant impact of exhausted parents and family dynamics. From the toll it takes on communication and of course relationships to the ripple effects it has on children's well-being. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's plunge into this right now. Have you ever noticed how the mood of exhausted parents can affect the entire family dynamic? When parents are tired and stressed, it can create a ripple effect that impacts everyone in the household. Please join me in a fun conversation I had with our guest, Mr. Canute Watson. And we talked about, of course, exhausted parents and how it affects the family. Well, today we are talking about the ripple effect, exhausted parents and family dynamics. And I have today as our special guest, Mr. Canute Watson. And Mr. Watson, we're going to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, as you said, name is Canute Watson. I am married, a father of two, a grandson, and a godson. I am ex-military. I would never been on a ship. I am a CB, which is a construction battalion, so I've never really had to go on a ship, and I was reserve. And also, I am basically just a conversation waiting to happen.
All right, that sounds good. That sounds good. Thank you for that. Well, of course, I do know that you have been a single parent. Years ago, you were a single father for a while, and now you are married and you're a husband, and you are, of course, a part of a blended family. So, on the topic of discussion today, which is exhausted parents and family dynamics. Tell us a little bit about that. How does exhaustion affect the dynamics within your family relationships?
Well, it's like you said, it's a lot of frustration. Simple things become big problems. Mm-hmm. Instead of you spending quality time with the wife, you end up arguing about every little thing. A simple thing is maybe just tying your shoes becomes a big problem because you can't find that little lace, because of all of what's happening. You wake up, you're feeling tired, and the day seems like forever. You go to work, on your way home, your mind is going 100 miles an hour. By the time you get home, the wife just want to know how you're doing, and you start thinking, we have to go through this whole thing. We're talking about all kinds of stuff, and I just want to go sit down somewhere. So the kids, a lot of times we think we're doing okay, but the kids are watching. So even though we call ourselves hiding it, they can feel that energy. It's you can tell it's negative, but you think they're kids, so they won't figure it out. But then they find their little hole to go, sit down and try to avoid the parents.
Okay.
But then everything just becomes big. It's a frustration. It's
so
very frustrating.
One of the things that you mentioned is the word energy. So you are pretty much saying that exhaustion, especially coming from work and some of the pressures and the difficult things that you may have had to confront or to face at work, mm-hmm. that exhaustion can create a negative energy within the family relationship.
It does. And like I said, a lot of times we sometimes don't even realize it. We think we're doing a great job, but in reality, we're hurting each other, not intentionally,
right.
But it is what it is.
I got you. Good. And how do you handle some of those issues as it relates to exhaustion within the family circle? How do you?
Well, as soon as you realize what's happening, and I hope it's sooner than later, you have to address it. You have to kind of try to figure out where it's coming from. Try to figure out what's the best way to go about it. You may have to talk to a pastor. You may talk to a friend, because sometimes when you talk to people, because I think the devil have a way of making you feel like you're the only one going through this thing. And if you believe that, then you have this fight all by yourself, and you're basically no help to anybody else.
Right.
Because you're spending most of your time trying to figure out how to take care of it. And as men, we have this way of trying to not have to ask anybody for help,
right.
Trying to do everything yourself.
Right.
And, she's there, the wife is there. She would love to help you, yes, if you let her.
Right.
But instead, you spend your time fussing and fighting about each and every little thing.
Yeah. Sometimes that macho thing comes in, and that male ego.
That's right.
And so you don't want to talk to anybody. But one of the things that you mentioned is also having a support system. You mentioned a pastor or friends that you can talk to.
Right.
And how has that worked for you in the past?
It's everything. And I make it a point of duty to surround myself with people that I trust.
Yeah.
Most of my friends are like what you call bounce back walls, where you can throw something out there, you're gonna get something back.
Yes.
And even if it may be completely different, you have friends that may not even be Christian,
right?
But their insight, it's if you take sense from nonsense,
right?
If it's something you can use, you use it. If not, then it is what it is. But sometimes you can get nugget from anybody.
Yes.
So you go to them, and they've been through something. It's not just you who are going through this. People have been through it, are going through it, that can still, help you.
So parents, of course, that are exhausted, there are different things that comes within the equation of exhaustion. And of course, we're talking about exhausted parents and how it affects the family dynamics. Now, obviously, there are some triggers. What are some of the triggers that you think that you have experienced, and that perhaps other persons, other dads or parents that you have spoken with have really experienced, that really trigger that it affects the family because they have been exhausted?
Everything triggers it. Like I said, it's more of a cycle. Kind of, it actually turns into like a lifestyle, where it's not an event where you do something and it triggers it. For me, it was you wake up kind of like that. You wake up tired. You really don't really want to go to work, but you have to. Right. So you do what you have to do. And, wife may be calling and say, hey, can you do this? And it's like, oh, man, yeah. You know what I mean? Where in reality, she's really just asking you to do something, which you'll do any day, all day.
Yes.
So it's not just, well, you can say that triggers it, but not really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just now everything is a problem. Yes. Everything is bigger than it seems.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing a cat, you were seeing a big old monster. So it's once you start feeling that way and going through that process, you start realizing, you have to deal with it.
Yes. And of course, you did say everything triggers it. Now the next question really is important, because once it is happening within the family, how do you bring a resolution? How do you resolve this? What are some of the things that you do? You mentioned support system and friends, of course, but as it relates to you and your relationship with your wife or child or children, how do you handle that to bring about a resolution?
You again, you have to realize what it is. Because you can't really do anything until you know what your problem is. Depending on your mindset, depending on who you are, the kind of person you are, for me, it was, I just need to talk to somebody.
Right.
And once you get what they have to offer, it is a matter of just going somewhere. Like I always say, for me, I like to play. I'm a sport guy.
Right.
So if I go play soccer, it's an hour away.
Yes.
The drive to soccer and the drive back is my time.
Yes.
I call my wife. I say, hey, I'm heading home, and that's it. And you start thinking, what can I do better? What is making me feel the way I feel? Why does everybody around me love me, and I feel like I'm not loved?
Right. Right. Right.
And you have to process that, and just whatever best works for you. You have to see it in a way to where, listen, my wife loved me, my kid loved me. Why am I angry about whatever it is? If it's something to do with the blended family, I'm not the one. I don't have that issue where I don't have the baby mama drama.
Right.
Right. So if I don't have that, and my wife is not treating me any kind of way to where I have a problem with it, why am I so angry? So I have to deal with me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, whatever it is that's bugging me, I have to talk myself through it.
Right. And of course, dealing with you is about reflecting, having an introspection, looking into yourself as to why am I behaving this way? What do I need to do to fix this? And where have I gone wrong? Or it might not necessarily be wrong, but where have I missed the mark?
Right.
What do I need to do to improve this? So do you normally go and sit with your wife and talk about issues? Do you sit with your children and talk about the issues and so on? How do you bring the resolution? Go back to that question. I mean, how do you resolve that? Is there any kind of apologies or explanation? Tell us how you handle that.
Well, as far as apologies, I have no problem apologizing.
Right.
But I always, I pride myself in not having to apologize. So I spend a lot of time going through things before saying anything.
Right.
Because I don't want to have to go back and apologize. But yes, you have to sit with my wife, have that conversation. As far as my son, I have the luxury of having great kids.
Right.
So we'll have those conversations. I ask him questions. He'll tell me what he thinks, how he feels. And even though it may be weird in some sense and it may be way off from what I'm thinking, it's like you still have to listen to what they're saying, because they're looking at it from a kid point of view. And you have to be the adult. You have to go back and say, well, if he's feeling that way, regardless of how I am presenting it, it's the way he sees it or she sees it.
Right.
So we have to work through that. So a lot of time it's just having those conversations, A lot of times, I don't really want to talk to my wife about a lot of things, not because we can't talk. Is a lot of time when she wants to talk is when I'm going to bed. And the problem I have with that is I already have a hard time falling asleep. And when we get to talking, it's like, now my mind is going 100 miles an hour. Now I can't sleep. So, but yes, you have to have that tough conversation at some point, just not when you're going to bed.
Okay. So it's important to choose the right timing to have a conversation, to discuss some of the things that has brought the frustration. And it seemed like a lot of things that that happens at work, because work can be very, very exhausting, right? So coming from work, and we're told that we should not bring our work home, right? Meaning that the problems we have at work, we should leave it there and not bringing those at home. But now a lot of people are working from home, right? So
they have the problem.
they're the problem
at
home, right? Either way, right?
Right.
At work, at home, because that's where work is, right? So I think that's a new dynamic. That's a new phenomenon that we need perhaps to do some more research on. Now, a lot of parents that are working from home, that are frustrated with or exhausted with some of the pressures that the work environment can bring, and also because you're at work and you're at home at the same time, you really can't leave those things because you're at home. So those things are being seen because that's where work is for you. So
and again, for me, work for me is there's no frustration at work.
Yes,
I happen to have great coworkers, a great job, which I love.
Yes.
So it's not so much the job. The job is not a problem.
Right.
It's when you wake up.
Yes.
And not really rested.
Right.
And I have to drive like an hour to go to work.
Right.
It's a chore to do that. Get up and go take a shower and get yourself ready, and that's the kind of stuff that's frustrating.
Okay.
But as far as the work itself, that's not an issue. It's just the process.
Okay.
Not so much the job.
Being a fatigue, the physical part of it. As you said, waking up and being tired.
Right.
So exhaustion.
Then you have to go through downtown. You got to go through downtown and the traffic, and all that stuff.
The road rage and all that stuff.
Let's try to stay away from the road.
Yes, right.
But yes.
Okay. Well, this is a very interesting conversation, Brother Canute. So, tell us what role does faith plays in all of this dynamic. Faith plays some role in it. Or tell us about that.
It does. It's that place of solace. Mm-hmm. It's where, for me, I try to do things my way first, which it may be backwards,
right?
If you think about it, you put the Lord first,
right?
And, for me, I try to fix it myself,
right?
And when it doesn't work, is where it's put it like this. It's kind of like if you're hungry,
yes,
I would choose food over the word,
right?
But then if there's no food at all, then you end up going to the word. So the word becomes the food.
Right.
It's kind of similar in that sense that I try to do everything. I want to do everything. I reach out to people. I go online. I do whatever it takes. And when I realize that all that does not resolve my issue, now I have no other choice but to go to faith. And again, as a believer, it really does sound backwards, but that's what I end up doing all the time.
Which you're saying that it's not the best way of doing it.
It's not, because hindsight gives me that 20/20 vision where at the end of the day, I end up having to go there anyway.
And to talk to the Lord, to pray about it until...
Exactly.
Okay, I got you. So pretty much you're saying, hey, all those men that are watching with the ego, they need to understand that there are some things that they have no control over, and that they need to put those things to the Lord, because God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we're able to ask or even to think. So God must play a role in our lives. And even when we are exhausted, we need to seek help from the Lord.
That's right.
As we are saying. Well, I want to thank you, Mr. Watson Canute, for sharing those experiences with us. And I hope that someone watching will be able to participate in the conversation by making comments and for what they have learned, of course, from this conversation is valid.
My question is, if you put it out there, can we send questions to you?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. So definitely, we want to encourage our viewers to send questions. Put your questions in the comments. We will be able to address them, and of course, also ideas that you might have things that we can do to make this program, even much better, more effective for our viewers. We're open to suggestions, so we welcome those, definitely.
Okay, and if we let's say we just want to talk to you, can we set up appointments, or will you meet with us, or how does that work?
Oh, certainly. That's a great question. I am also a counselor and a pastor, and once you put those questions in, there's also access to my telephone number and email address, which is also public. Persons can reach out to me, and I'll be happy to share and to talk with them. Certainly. Okay. Great question.
Well, I really enjoy this conversation.
It was fun. It was fun. It was fun.
And a lot of times, because see, here's the thing. A lot of times we have this conversation, like, for me, like now that I've been through it,
right?
When somebody else, whether younger or older, come to me with any kind of conversation about this same exhaustion,
right,
and being a parent, it's therapeutic,
right,
in the sense that I went through it, and I'm able to impart, on another person,
right.
And so not only do they get some help, but I also end up enjoying it, and it does something for me.
Yes.
So it's a give and take, and everybody wins.
That's how it always is. Yes, that's how it always is. That's wonderful. That's a great input there. So folks can know. Sometimes you're going through your own issues too, and persons come with the similar issue you're going through, come to you for advice. And as you are able to walk them through and to talk with them, you yourself
get that revelation.
Exactly.
What are the odds?
That's how God works, right?
That's right.
Wonderful. Well, this really is a great conversation, and I enjoy it. And, it was fun. So thanks again for sharing with us. God bless you.
Anytime.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Children may start to act out more, seeking attention from their weary parents. Spouses may argue more frequently as the strain of exhaustion takes a toll. The overall atmosphere in the home can become tense and chaotic, leading to a breakdown in communication and harmony. This can result, of course, in feelings of resentment, frustration, and isolation for all the family members. Here are some takeaways from our discussion. It's important for parents to prioritize self-care and seek support when feeling overwhelmed. By taking care of yourself, you are better equipped to handle the challenges of parenthood and, of course, maintain a healthy family dynamic. Exhaustion can create a negative energy which affects everyone in the family. Get involved in physical activities that are therapeutic for your physical, mental, and emotional health. Include God in your daily life. Spiritual health, vitally important and necessary. Talk about your feelings and frustrations with your spouse, your children, and your trusted family members and friends. Having a good support system is vitally important in helping to resolve some of the challenges caused by exhaustion. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to click the bell for notification when a new video is posted. See you on the next one.